It's time to stop. Back on April 28th, 2025, I did something unthinkable. Hot Toys figures usually cost around $300, but this rare Anakin Skywalker figure, well, it cost me $1,200. But now, Hot Toys has gone and done the thing and announced another Anakin Skywalker figure, and it's readily available for $310. A quarter of the cost. And they did more than that. It gets worse. We're just getting started. Hot Toys went and announced the exact same Anakin figure that I bought for $430, except it has better eyes and a better display base. Did I make a massive mistake? And if I did, how can I prevent you from making the same mistake that I did? But before we answer that question, make sure to like the video down below, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so that way you're notified when content goes live here. That said, my $1,200 Anakin Skywalker purchase, that decision is under fire. And today we need to determine if my decision was wise or if it's as dumb as everyone says. Let's find out. Thank you so much for joining me for another video today. And today I want to talk about my most controversial purchase of all time, the $1,200 Star Wars Celebration Anakin Skywalker exclusive. They called it Darth Vader's Sith Apprentice, but it's a dark side Anakin basically. I made a video about 6 months ago explaining why I made that purchase and why I paid so much over retail to acquire that Anakin Skywalker figure. So for a little bit more information after this video is done, I'll link that in the video description below so you can check it out. But today I want to get into how quickly and how dramatically the market can change with Hot Toys figures and why I think you should never pay above retail for a Hot Toys collectible figure. For context, I paid that $1,200 for Artisan Sith Apprentice Anakin by Hot Toys back in April of 2025, and since then, Hot Toys has announced a $310 sculpted hair Anakin with an updated head sculpt and both dark side and light side eyes. And Hot Toys announced a near exact copy of Artisan Dark Side Anakin with better eyes and a light up display base, which is better than the one I have, thereby killing the rarity and value of the version I paid $1,200 for on eBay. The first point that I want to address today is that there will always be another version. Sometimes the first version is the best version, and occasionally, like maybe the Hulk, that's something where that version has retained its value over time. But 99% of the time, there will be a 2.0 or a 3.0 or a different version altogether that you're probably going to want more than the one that you're chasing after right now. It behooves you, it benefits you to be patient and wait for a remake of the version that you really want, or possibly another version altogether that you're gonna end up wanting more than the one that you're chasing and drooling over right now. There will always be a new shiny thing, and at the end of the day, these collectibles have their place in our lives. They're not gonna make or break your existence, and there's always gonna be other figures that can fulfill you and provide you joy in your life while you're waiting for a newer, better version of the one that you really are chasing after. I have learned the hard way a couple times over now, and every time I go chasing a figure on the aftermarket, Hot Toys ends up announcing a newer, better version for a retail price that is far below what I paid on the secondary market. Patience is a virtue in the collecting hobby and really in life in general. So every time you are feeling that itch to go chase a figure for a crazy price on the aftermarket, please try to remind yourself that there is always going to be a newer, brighter, better, shinier version of that character or something else that is going to fulfill you all the same for a hell of a lot less cost. Even if you join the collecting game late, I encourage you to wait for the figure that you really want and go after the ones that are readily available on pre-order or in stock, or maybe available on the aftermarket for about retail price, because if you go paying well above retail price, I promise you, you're gonna end up losing a shit ton of money. It's beyond time that we all recognize that Hot Toys collectibles are not rare, they are not exclusive, and they are not investments. These are for enjoyment purposes only. They are super lifelike and realistic, but they are not designed to be super rare or precious or exclusive, because Hot Toys could very easily go and remake that figure, give it a different name, a different display base like they did with Anakin, and just sell it again. And I'm actually totally fine with that. I didn't buy that Anakin Skywalker because I believed I had something super incredibly precious and rare that no one else could have, but I really wanted that specific figure. But I do think there are plenty of collectors out there that bought it because they felt like they had something rare and special in their collection that other people didn't have, which is a perfectly fine way to collect, but I don't think that's how Hot Toys operates at all. It's not their mindset. They're a business creating an artistic product, and they're going to keep making it if there's a demand for it. The second point that I want to communicate here is that even if there's not another version of that figure, the market will settle as the hype dies down. What I mean by this is that even if Hot Toys did not make another Anakin Skywalker or 2 Anakin Skywalker figures, eventually, as hype dissipates, the market will settle and go to something a little bit more reasonable. If you pay at the peak of the market price, you're going to pay the highest price possible. And when you wait a little bit, be a little bit patient, eventually that price will drop and drop and drop until it becomes at a point where it's a little more reasonable. Hype is very fluid, and as new things come out that are even better than that old thing that went skyrocket on the aftermarket, eventually collectors' interest is focused in a lot of different directions, and they're not really thinking about Anakin, which is causing people to have to sell their Anakin figures when they do sell them for less. Eventually, markets settle as people focus on other opportunities. Take a second to reflect on how many Hot Toys figures or in-art figures or J&D or third-party figures are released in a given year. It's so many. There are so many good things out there right now. And because of that, people's attention is diverted in different directions. And when someone goes to sell an Anakin, everyone may not have the funds or really be that interested, which causes the prices to drop. It happens all the time. It's happened with grails on the secondary market like Hela and Yondu, and the A New Hope figures like Farm Boy Luke and Leia from the original A New Hope film. All those figures have dropped in price over time as people focus on newer, more exciting things. The third point is that there will always be other figures that you're gonna want. Think of it like this. There was probably a point in your life where you met someone, some girl or guy in high school or college maybe, that you just put on a pedestal as your dream partner, and you said, this is the person that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with. And you probably knew very little about this person. Sometimes we do that with collectible figures. We say, this Darkside Anakin is going to fulfill me. It's going to complete my collection. It's going to make me whole as a person, and I'm probably going to win the lottery after I buy it. Something like that. You fantasize about all the great things that you're going to do in your life if you have this figure in your collection. But it turns out when you have it, it's great. It's a great figure, but it's not everything that you hyped it up to be. There are so many other figures out there that can provide you gratification and fulfillment, and it's not just that one that's going to make your life and your collection whole. Of course, sometimes this can happen. When you find the right partner, you know it, and when you find the right figure that fits in your collection, you know it, but more often than not, that's not the case. So the more you put a figure on the pedestal, the more you're going to make illogical decisions to acquire it. The fourth point that I want to address here is that your dollar will go so much further elsewhere. This ties into the other aforementioned points. Your dollar is going to be so much better spent by using it on things that you are spending retail or a lower than retail price for, because you're going to be able to buy more figures in the long run. If you're buying figures for more than what their retail cost is, you're paying more than what that figure is generally worth. And when you're doing that, you're costing yourself money, and you're costing yourself future enjoyment from buying other collectibles that you could spend that money on. How many times have I and other people done this where we buy things that are just overpriced on the secondary market? And when you do that, you're not able to spend the budget on new exciting things that you really want in your display cases. You are costing yourself money and fun and enjoyment and fulfillment by overspending on a figure for short-term gratification that's costing you everything that's more important in the long run. And this is why I want to encourage myself and many others to go ahead and stop spending above retail on these Hot Toys figures, because when you do so, it is at your expense and to your detriment in the long term. Collecting is a marathon, not a sprint. And when you make decisions with the sprint mindset, you end up costing yourself hugely in the long run. Trust me, I've done it multiple times now, and every time I've looked at it and said, you know what? That was probably a mistake. Am I content that I have this Anakin Skywalker figure? Absolutely I am. At the same time, I really do like the new Mustafar version with the display base and the new eyes, which I think are even better than the figure that I have now. Do I wish I didn't pay $1,200 for the figure? Yeah, I do actually kind of wish that. Am I super upset about it? No, I ended up costing myself about $700 that I didn't need to cost myself, but it is a lesson learned, and sometimes lessons are expensive and painful. So I do want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know what you think about spending above retail on Hot Toys collectible figures. Have you done it in your own collecting journey? Are you going to continue to do it? I would advise against it, and I would recommend that people do not pay above retail, considering the market is so fluid and changes so dramatically so quickly. quickly. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it down below, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so that way you're notified when content goes live here. Let me know how your collecting journey is going. Let me know if you got any of the new Anakin Skywalker figures, and let me know any retail figures that you've paid above retail price for. I think that would be super interesting to discuss in the comment section. I've done it a few times now, and more often than not, it has bit me in the ass almost every time. So not a fun time. Let's see what your thoughts are in the comments below though. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. I will catch you in the next video. Peace out. See you later. Bye.